Welcome to Brainstorming America. Ken Rollins here, and I'm here with my co-host, John Merrill. Good to see you, John.
Thank you, my friend. Always good to be with you.
Good to see you. And we got a guest, Lee Patterson, the chairman. Are you the chairman, or are you
No, Danny Shears is the chairman right
Okay,
now.
it
I'm the fifth chair. So
Okay.
at the end of my term, I will do the last 9 months.
Calhoun County Commission? And they're doing a lot of things that you should know about out there. But I hate y'all doing this because these other counties are looking in. They're going to pick up on it and steal your stuff. So be careful here what you say.
Well, we want to share. We want,
you want to share with
We want the whole
you
state to
folks,
look good.
He's going to tell you all about it. Lee Patterson, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all having me.
Commissioner, we are delighted to have you. We are so excited to have Commissioner Patterson with us today, and the reason for that is because there's so many outstanding things that are going on in Calhoun County, and he's at the heart of those things. He is a truly dedicated public servant. Prior to his time as a county commissioner, of course, he served as a UPS. We knew what Brown could do for you, and that's the reason that they said we're going to see what he can do as a member of the county commissioner, and as a member of the county commission, and he's been doing that since 2014. So we're excited to have him as he's in his third term, and he is moving forward and trying to make sure that he is showing the kind of leadership that we all expected from him, and we're also very excited to have him as a guest on our show today. So Commissioner, again, we're so glad you're here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. So tell us a little bit about some of the things that are going on in Calhoun County and why you're so excited about them.
Well, we have a good many projects going right now. We have our horse trails, 900 acres, that is shared with the BCHA, which is the Backcountry Horseman Association, and totally owned by the commission, but we partner with them to take care of that. But we have 30 miles of riding trails on that 900 acres. The goal is to hopefully get another 700 across the way, which will make us one of the largest horse riding attractions in the nation.
Is all of that on the old Fort McClellan?
So it's called Camp McClellan,
Yeah.
is what our park is, and it's on Iron Mountain Road before you hit the bypass.
Okay.
So it's up there on the back road, the new
Yeah.
back road there.
The people out the area, they would know Fort McClellan,
That's right.
even though it goes by McClellan, the different names.
Well, and
But
we
it's-
kept the traditional names of the fort from World War I and II. We kept the names of some of those. We honored some of the names there.
Yeah, I read some of the comments from the Horseman Association, and when you had your first events here, they were impressed that y'all had gone as fast and furious as you have to build that area.
Well, I've got to give credit to a former commissioner, J.D. Hess. He
did.
had the vision for this. We were able to acquire the land, and it's just been a wonderful thing. We have a stable out there with 31 stalls. We have a walking arena. We have 50 campsites with power and water. We have 15 primitive campsites. We have a museum out there. Just a wonderful attraction. We have a pavilion with a nice native stone fireplace.
Is it the J.D. Hess Pavilion?
Did we name it yet?
That's what I'm
We may be on our way to naming it. Who knows?
That's what I've asked you. All in favor?
You know, and it's great that you have done this for those equestrians of interest, but also talk a little bit about Chief Ladaga Trail and how that has impacted the economy and how it's drawn attention to Calhoun County.
So Chief Ladaga Trail, we have 31 miles in Calhoun County, and then it proceeds through Cleveland County to the Georgia line, and it actually goes all the way to Atlanta. The Silver Bullet, or is it Silver Comet? Silver Comet Trail. Turns into that, but I have a park called Chief Ladaga Landing, and we have native plants. Bob Elam drew the plans, and we planted all native plants. No grandma's roses, okay? And we're fixing to do a bathroom out there, a restroom area, overflow parking, and I took a bridge from Brown Bridge that was going to be demolished and moved it across the mountain and re-erected that. Have you been out there?
That's great. I have not seen that.
It's something. It's
Yes,
something
sir.
to behold. We put that up with stamped concrete like boards, and we're going to have honeysuckles growing over it.
Sure.
An arbor type deal.
You know, one of the things that was funny before we went on the air was we were talking about how the definition of a road commissioner, now a county commissioner, has changed. Ken was talking to Commissioner Patterson about that. Well, why don't you talk about that just a little bit more, Ken, and Commissioner?
Well, when I was growing up a young man, the commissioners that I knew, those back in the 50s and 60s, they were road commissioners.
Right.
And their main job was potholes and bridges.
Right.
And that's all they did. You didn't have any of the stuff. And I said, I noticed in Calhoun County many years ago, 40 plus years ago, when Eli Henderson got in there, he started taking ball fields and getting the county involved in recreation and the youth and things like that. And I said, that ain't. And then I looked at the other thing he did. He just started looking at go out there at the old, what is that thing out there?
Janie Furnace.
Jamie Furnace.
Mm-hmm.
He was into all that historic stuff. He loved that. He took me into some woods back there to an old fort that's still there. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir. That's on a 40-acre plot that park is.
That's a hit. Andrew Jackson with all these different people back in here in our area walking our woods. And Eli took me all out in there, and he wanted the county commission to be involved in everything. And there was a memorial out here. We got a guy got killed in the Pentagon during 9/11, a major in the Army. And he gave me a call and said, we got to build this guy a memorial. We put in $42,000 memorial out there in Jacksonville. Yeah.
And that's my hometown, and I grew up with that man, Dwayne Williams, and his brother. We called him Fish and Chip. Mm-hmm. And I'm about the same age as Chip, his younger brother. But
yeah, he was a unique fellow. They tell me about all the things that he did.
And we're going to talk more about that when we come back from
this
break. And we're excited to have another outstanding episode of Brainstorming America. We'll see you back in just a minute.
Welcome to Brainstorming America. Welcome back to Brainstorming America. We're here with the Lee Patterson with the Calhoun County Commission. And my co-host over there, John Merrill, and we were talking to, what was the subject we was
talking
on?
about road commissioners, I think.
Yeah, about you not being potholes and bridges anymore, but you do a lot of other stuff.
That was the thing of the past. We're into quality of life things. We want to better our community. We help our schools.
Yeah.
We're not, we're an autonomous group from the school board, but we do what we can to help our kids.
We have a one of the biggest events around here, Memorial Day and Veterans Day, at the park up there, and it's a very expensive undertaking and whatever. And I have to say, you guys have helped me for years. I guess 20-something years. I couldn't put that on up there with the sound, but everything the price is going up double in the last 2 or 3 years. So I appreciate what y'all do too. You that's quality of life stuff.
That's right.
You do.
Glad to be a part of that. If a coach calls me and says he needs help with the program or she needs help with the program, I'm glad to help. I've got in my district, I've got Piedmont, Jacksonville, and Pleasant Valley, and all those coaches, I know them, and I want to help their program, the bands. So I try to do more than just I've got 198 miles of road. I go to some of these functions and with the ACCA and they'll have 400 or 500 miles apiece.
Well, speaking of the ACCA, this is a perfect segue because Commissioner Patterson is in the leadership series for the Alabama County Commission Association, and he is currently the incoming president for ACCA. And it's not very often that we have people from this part of the state that are in those leadership roles. So he's distinguished himself within that organization as well as in his service with the Calhoun County Commission. So we're excited to have you talk just a little bit about the things that are associated with ACCA, what you've learned there, how you're trying to use it in Calhoun County, what you hope to do in the future in your service beginning in 2024 as the state president for ACCA.
That's right. I was elected as vice president last year. I'm now president-elect, and I will in August of this next year be the president of the association, and that's as high as you can go as a commissioner.
That's right.
In the state of Alabama, and I'm very honored. My peers selected me. You have a interview panel, and it's an honor to be there. We have a motto at ACCA, which is Association of County Commissions of Alabama, that is 67 counties, one voice. And we have counties with 5, 6, 7,000 people, and then you have the Jefferson County with 750,000. And whether you're Jefferson or one of these smaller counties, we try to be together and stay unified and not pull against each other. And it's all about helping. Our association has a lot of associations under us, such as the Sheriff's Association. You've got your Probate Judge Association,
County engineers, county administrators.
Yes, sir. All of the, and this was orchestrated and formed by ACCA.
Yes.
And
your very able director, Sonny Brassfield.
He's the brainchild of all this.
Whose wife is actually from Cleburne County. So we're keeping it down home.
That's right. Yeah, y'all might be cousins.
That's right, just a little bit.
Drink out of the same creek.
That's right.
So, but it's a wonderful ride. I've enjoyed it. To get to this level, we have what's called PLAN, Passion, Leadership, Accountability, and Networking, and that's a leadership program, and I did that in 2020. And every 2 years, there was 2018, 2020, 22 PLAN, and I went through that leadership program, and what it does, it prepares you to go further. Now, you asked about the vision. This year's platform, mental health, is the key.
And so important, not only to all 67 counties, but all 464 municipalities throughout the state. Talk a little bit about that and what y'all are doing in Calhoun County and what you've learned from ACCA to try to implement that in the county.
So mental health is a #1 priority for every county. The plan group, 2022 plan group, their thing is mental health. And our goal is to get, with the commissioner, mental health commissioner, to get $30 million somehow funded with the state to provide 3,200 beds for our mental health crisis.
Sure.
So that's one of the major focuses. Right now, we're fixing to do an $8 million medical wing on our sheriff, for our sheriff and for the county, because mental health is such an issue. We would say 40% of our inmates
Absolutely
are dealing with mental health. So
that's right, and actually that would be 2 out of every 3 people that we're talking about are impacted by the mental health concerns. Correct. So on our panel, you'd have to determine which 2 were the
I think Ken's in that 30%, that lower 30%.
Okay, you said it.
No, I was thinking something else. I wanted to throw this in because you're on the subject of mental health, and I had discussed this with some other folks in the past. The thing about law enforcement, about gun permits and that kind of thing, I know a person personally that was checked into the RMC, a mental health situation, lockdown for 4 or 5 days, then was released, and that person went straight to the pawn shop where Mike the treasurer and bought a pistol because it was a woman and she was mad at her ex. She bought a pistol, within minutes of being released from that facility. No question on there about that. There's nothing about
No checks and balances is what you're saying.
Oh, have you been accused of this, any felonies, all this stuff? But there's nothing about mental health. So somebody who has robbed a liquor store, to me, is not as dangerous as a person that's been diagnosed as bipolar and all these different things. And she had been diagnosed as all that. And me and the sheriff, Emerson, used to have this conversation. He wanted me.
And before we continue that, we want to take a minute to thank our sponsors and to ask them to continue to help us as we bring to you each and every week another outstanding and exciting episode of Brainstorming America. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Brainstorming America. Have my tongue twisted right here today. We're talking with Lee Patterson from the Calhoun County Commission, and a lot of good info he's brought us today. We got to be sure he don't let out the secrets of what's going on. And Lee, I got about 1,000 questions for you, but I know John's bucking at the reins over there. Let's give it to him first. see what he got.
So tell us some of the things that you would like to see done in the next couple of years of your term, because it's going to be a very fluid time with your service, which will require traveling to the other 66 counties and also presiding at all of the County Commission Association meetings. But I know, as in tune to your constituents as you are, tell us what are some of the things you'd like to see done in your district and then overall in the county as we go toward the end of this next term.
Well, as far as our county, we've got many projects that we're trying to, with the ARPA money, American Rescue money, trying to get through. I'm going to be doing, my park is expanding it, and 2 other commissioners are going to be doing their parks, but the medical wing is very important to us. But as far as ACCA, and this may be controversial, but what I've talked with Sonny Brassfield about this is us moving towards separating the commissions from the sheriffs, letting the sheriffs be funded some other way. They're their own entity instead of coming to the commissions to get funding. It kind of puts stresses on you sometimes.
It does, and that would be really, really big. And I know Ken has some thoughts about that too.
Well, I was going, when you finished with that, I had a question about it, but I'll insert my question. Before I left this morning, I watched the situation with 100-something thousand people from the border, across the border out there in a field. And the speaker in New York mentioned Birmingham, Alabama, that some of the groups had come that far on their own without being bused, but they've managed to get rides to coming into the city of Birmingham to where that's going to be affected. And that's what we got an emergency banging on their door. Does the county look into anything like that? Because Birmingham's not that far away from it.
We've not discussed that yet, but I know with the influx of of 12+ million already in this last year, that's got to stop. Yeah. I mean, if you look at the individuals coming across, they're not all from South America.
Absolutely.
You see, African countries, Middle Eastern countries, and a lot of them are young males. Yeah. That could pose an issue down the road. You don't know what's coming in this country, and there's no checks and balances on that. We've got to get a grip on that.
My thing was like, what are these cities going to do, these counties going to do to deal with them when he says, oh, we're Don Lee Trailer Park or one of these trailer parks, there's 300 of them moved in, they're not even checking them.
So how are we going to absorb all this cost? I mean, right now they're giving them plane tickets, bus tickets, food, providing food, shelter. That can't go on forever, It's just no way to support that.
I wanted to throw it in and see if y'all had a...
We've not discussed that yet, but I'm sure we will be in the next year. So.
But again, that goes right back to the point you were making about law enforcement and how the separation between the sheriff's offices in each one of the 67 counties from the county commission can sometimes cause a problem, because we know that there are county commissioners who don't like the sheriff in their particular county, who don't have a good positive relationship like y'all do with the sheriff here. And when that occurs, it can also put law enforcement at a disadvantage. So we need to talk about this more.
There will have to be a way to do this because right now you kind of got a checks and balance system in place, and we work very well with our sheriff. Sheriff Wade's been great. We're trying to, we've got raises for his department, and every department has had raises. We've been able to absorb the insurance costs, so they're not having to, every time insurance increase, we absorb that. We've been able to give raises every year. The COLAs. So Calhoun County's in pretty good shape when it comes to finances, and you look across the state and see the other counties struggling.
Yes, sir.
I wonder what the ratio that the sheriff arrests are mental patients as opposed to criminals, or being a criminal with a mental health situation.
I've heard across the 67 counties, every sheriff has got at least 30% of their inmate population is dealing with mental health. 30%, and some up to 50%. So I don't know where your average is in there, but my thing is, Most of it's attributed to the drug misuse, the meth and all the heroin and things that alter your mental state. And here we're having to
I'm
absorb
pretty
that.
bold. I go up here at the park and I see a bunch of the homeless people standing, sitting around. I ask them, "What are you doing here? What's your story? How'd you end up here?" And you know, there's a lot of them. It's by choice, just like we have with homeless veterans. I would have a lot to do with that. But a lot of them out there because they don't want to deal with this marriage. They don't want to deal with the finances. And they just don't want to, and they don't want to do in a work job. Tell me what to do. Don't do. And they're just out there by choice. So, but a lot of them have all the PTSD, all the other things that go with that.
Right.
Sheriff's got their hands full with just,
No doubt.
They're not just dealing with a guy that robbed the liquor store.
That's right.
They got a guy that does other things.
And anybody in our jails, they're not just, you know, deadbeat dads.
Absolutely.
I mean, we now have your murderers and your rapists and all. I mean, we really have some hardened
Child
folks in there.
molesters, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I see a lot.
There's
of
no
that.
room. I mean, there's no room for the others. You know.
Yeah.
Commissioner, is there anything as we draw toward the close of this episode that you'd like to share with your constituents or the people of Calhoun County or Northeast Alabama about what's going on in the county and why you want to let them know how happy you are to continue to serve?
Well, it's a called position, and I feel like the Lord's placed me where I'm at, and I've enjoyed every moment of it. It's good. You know, we're close to the people. You know, you get on into Montgomery or Washington, you get a little insulated,
Right.
but we're here. People have my number, and I enjoy helping people. And the main thing is if they call, answer. If you can't answer, return the call. Do your job. But we are about doing quality of life things for our community and just bettering our future for everyone.
Yes,
So,
sir. Well, we need more public servants like you. And we are so excited that you chose to join us today and to watch this outstanding episode of Brainstorming America with County Commissioner Lee Patterson. We're so thankful for his service to the people of Calhoun County. We are hoping that you will join us again next week as we get ready for another episode of Brainstorming America. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.